For decades, the story of human history was neatly packaged in textbooks. We were told that civilization followed a strict, predictable timeline. First came the hunter-gatherers, merely surviving day by day. Then came agriculture, settling down, and finally, the birth of complex societies, monumental architecture, and advanced technology. It was a comfortable narrative. But there's a problem. The Earth has a habit of digging up secrets that completely destroy our comfortable narratives. What happens when you find a monumental temple built thousands of years before the invention of the wheel? Or a 2,000-year-old analog computer sitting at the bottom of the ocean? Today, we're looking at 4 groundbreaking archaeological discoveries that didn't just challenge the timeline of human history, they shattered it. Our first stop takes us to the Jermis Mountains of southeastern Turkey, to a site known as Göbekli-Tepe, which translates to Belly Hill. Discovered by German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt in 1994, this site single-handedly rewrote the origins of civilization. Dating back over 11,000 years, Göbekli-Tepe is a sprawling complex of massive stone circles. To put that into perspective, it is roughly 6,000 years older than Stonehenge and predates the Great Pyramids of Giza by 7,000 years. But its age isn't the most shocking part. The shocking part is who built it. According to the traditional timeline, monumental architecture was only possible after the agricultural revolution, when people settled down and had the resources to organize massive labor forces. But Göbekli-Tepe was built by hunter-gatherers. There is no evidence of domesticated plants or animals at the site. Instead, researchers found tens of thousands of wild animal bones, proving the builders lived off the land. These nomadic people used advanced geometry to align the enclosures perfectly. They moved limestone pillars weighing up to 50 tons using nothing but stone tools and sheer human cooperation. Göbekli-Tepe proved that the urge to worship, to gather, and to build complex structures actually predated agriculture. Religion and culture didn't follow civilization, they sparked it. From the dusty hills of Turkey, we dive to the bottom of the Aegean Sea. In 1901, sponge divers exploring a 2,000-year-old Roman shipwreck made a baffling discovery. Amidst beautiful marble and bronze statues, they found a corroded, green lump of metal about the size of a shoebox. For decades, it sat in a museum, largely ignored. But when scientists finally looked inside using modern X-ray and CT scanning technology, they found something impossible. Inside the lump were dozens of precision-cut bronze gears with neat triangular teeth. This was the Antikythera mechanism, widely considered the world's first analog computer. Built around the 2nd century BCE, this device was used to track the complex movements of the cosmos. By turning a simple hand crank, an ancient user could predict the exact positions of the Sun, the Moon, and the 5 planets visible to the naked eye on any given date in the past or future. It tracked the lunar phases and could even predict solar and lunar eclipses with astonishing accuracy. The level of technological sophistication required to build this machine was previously thought to be completely absent from the ancient world. In fact, nothing even close to this level of mechanical engineering would appear again in human history until the development of astronomical clocks in Europe more than 1,000 years later. The Antikythera mechanism proved that ancient science was far more advanced than we ever dared to imagine. Next, we travel to the freezing Altai Mountains of Siberia, to a place called the Denisova Cave. In 2008, archaeologists sifting through the dirt found something entirely unassuming. A tiny fragment of a pinky finger bone belonging to a young girl, dating back roughly 60,000 years. Scientists assumed the bone belonged to either a modern human or a Neanderthal, both of whom were known to have used the cave. But in 2010, when geneticists sequenced the DNA from that tiny bone, the results sent shockwaves through the scientific community. It wasn't a human. It wasn't a Neanderthal. It was an entirely unknown, extinct species of ancient human. They named them the Denisovans. This was the first time in history a new human species was discovered primarily through genetics rather than fossilized skeletons. As researchers dug deeper, they realized the Denisovans weren't just an isolated group. They were a highly successful species that spread across Asia, from the freezing Tibetan Plateau to the tropical islands of Southeast Asia. But the biggest twist? They never completely vanished. Genetic testing revealed that as our ancestors, Homo sapiens, migrated across the globe, they met and interbred with the Denisovans. Today, millions of people, particularly in Southeast Asia, Papua New Guinea, and indigenous Australian populations, carry Denisovan DNA. Even the genetic adaptation that allows modern Tibetans to survive at extreme, high altitudes was inherited directly from their Denisovan ancestors. They are the ghost species that lives on inside us. Our final discovery takes us back to 1879, to the cave of Altamira in northern Spain. An amateur archaeologist named Marcelino Sanz de Satuola was exploring the cave floor when his 8-year-old daughter, Maria, wandered off. Suddenly, she looked up at the ceiling and shouted, "Look, Papa! Oxen!" Above them was a sprawling masterpiece of Paleolithic art. Dozens of life-sized bison, horses, and deer were painted in vivid red ochre and charcoal. The artists had even used the natural contours of the cave ceiling to give the animals a three-dimensional, breathing quality. Satuola published his findings, claiming the art was created by prehistoric humans. The scientific community's response? They laughed him out of the room. Experts of the 19th century believed that early humans were primitive, ape-like brutes incapable of abstract thought, let alone creating breathtaking, sophisticated art. They accused Satuola of hiring a modern artist to forge the paintings. He died in 1888, his reputation in ruins. It wasn't until decades later, when similar caves were discovered across Europe, that the scientific establishment realized their catastrophic mistake. The Altamira paintings were eventually dated to between 15,000 and 36,000 years ago. This discovery forced the world to accept that early humans possessed the same cognitive brilliance, emotional depth, and creative genius that we do today. History is not a straight line. It is a complex, messy, and endlessly fascinating puzzle. From hunter-gatherers building monumental temples, to ancient Greeks calculating the cosmos with gears, to ghost species living in our DNA, and prehistoric artists painting masterpieces in the dark, these discoveries remind us that we still have so much to learn about our own story. Which of these discoveries blew your mind the most? Do you think there are even older, more advanced secrets waiting to be dug up? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey through time, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching, and